Okay, so glad everybody's able to make it. We're going to get started. So in this webinar, what we're going to go over is how you guys can sell more cars during a recession. I mean, things are getting kind of tough, right? Rates are going up for used cars. Rates are going up, period. Um, the feds are still trying to battle inflation. They're still trying to get a handle on that. So you got cost of goods going up. People have less discretionary income, and so they have less money to buy a car, right? So think about the same people buying your vehicles now, but now they have less money. They're going to make those decisions are going to be a little different, right? So the buying behavior is changing. So I'm going to show you guys how you guys can sell more during a recession. I don't know if they actually classified it as a recession already or not, but I feel like we're kind of in one, and you don't have to rely on third party leads. And we're going to do this by suffocating your market. So real quick, I want to show you guys a dealer of ours that we partnered up with, and I want to show you guys some of their results. So in this example, I'm going to lead with them a little bit. So some of the things that you guys are going to see is going to be relative to us getting to this result, where we end up spending $600 and they netted 27 grand in profit. And I'm going to show you guys how you can clone this process so you can increase your bottom line as well. Now, quick disclaimer, right? This isn't going to be any and every dealer can do this, right? This does not guarantee that you can duplicate this. There's a couple different things you gotta factor in. They have very good salespeople. They know how to follow up with leads. They understand the follow-up process. They know how to close deals once they get in. They know how to set appointments, right? Uh, Inventory, very good inventory for the most part, and it could also be dependent on your market, right? So they're in a decent market, right? So they're kind of set up very well for something like this to actually happen. So I just want to give you guys some disclaimers. Not everybody's going to get the similar results. However, I want you guys to understand what the vehicle is, how it works, and that way you can make a decision and see if this is going to be right for you. So as we're talking about that, this is going to be something that independent dealers, luxury exotic cars, volume, buy here, pay here, franchise dealers, right? Doesn't matter. This is going to work for you guys. And we're going to go over kind of like the goal of the entire web class so that you understand it. I'm going to literally give you guys the reason why market suffocation is the only way you guys are going to sell more cars during a recession, right? The only way. And for you guys to be able to suffocate your market or implement market suffocation, I want you guys to understand that, you got to be omnipresent. You got to be everywhere. So real quick backstory about me so you guys have an understanding of how I developed this process. I remember right before, this is actually a picture of me probably a couple months in the car business, but right before this, I was turning wrenches. I was a diesel mechanic, and I knew I wanted to start a business one day. I knew I wanted to get into business, period, right? I just was drawn towards it. So I remember at the place I was working at, somebody in the shop referred me over to a dealership, which was one of the original Vantil dealerships in Kansas City. And I remember working there for 3 months, and I kind of I fell literally flat on my face, right? First 3 months, I mean, I was, at the time when I was turning wrenches, wasn't making a lot of money, but I was making 3 grand a month, right around there. And during the time I was selling cars, my draw was 2,000. So I was going $1,000 back because I couldn't break my draw, right? So I do that for 3 or 4 months, and next thing you know, my bank account's on fire, right? I can't sustain it anymore. So I remember walking up to this guy. This was my first mentor. His name's Chuck, and I put in my 2 weeks, and he's like, "Dude, listen, if you just follow what I'm getting ready to teach you, and you do it exactly, give me 1 month, and you don't get results at the end of that month, feel free to leave, man. Feel free to leave. But if you make this thing work, if you sit down and you focus, and this actually works, go full in on it." So I took up his offer, and he trained me. He got me very very skillful at closing. That's what I was having an issue with. But I still kind of had a problem at the time. that month in March, I made the most money I've ever made in my life, in my career, at the time. And that was around 7 grand due to that guy. And so I was hooked that month. I got hooked immediately. And what I ended up doing, was like, dude, I'm going full force in this thing. But it was March. March is one of our busiest seasons. So right after March, my pay went down. My commissions went down, right? So I was expecting, okay, good. I kind of know what I'm doing. I'm going to make 7 grand every month, right? Didn't work like that. At that time, I had more opportunities in front of me. And when those opportunities wasn't as when that market wasn't flourishing, like it was in a peak season, you start to notice it, right? So how do I produce the same results talking to less people? And I ran into a guy named Tom Casper, and he made me think outside the box, because I remember one thing that stuck with me. He said, listen, find 10 different ways to sell 2 cars. And at the time I was doing e-commerce at the time, right? So I was actually, selling products at home. And also at the same time, I was selling cars, right? So I was learning how to get deals, like how to make money without actually being physically there. And at the same time, I was trying to be the best that I could selling cars, because I could make some decent money doing it, right? And I realized I was splitting my focus. I was listening to I was part of a Grant Cardone's program, and I was listening to one of his financial courses that he dropped in there. And he said, listen, when you're trying to add an extra stream of income, right, you want to wrap it around what you already have. And that's when a light bulb went off in my head. I was like, ding, 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 ding. What if I can just take the skills that I know to get more opportunities, right? So the same amount of people that I had, get in front of the same amount of people that I had in that peak season in March that produced me, 7 grand in commissions. What if I can do that and get people in front of me, increase that side of it? Then I did a math calculation. It's like, if I could do this, this, and that, get this to work, I can duplicate what happened in March without having to depend on anybody, right? So that was my thought process. So I pretty much took my skills, combined them together so that I could sell more cars. The first time I started running ads, it was no different from how I was setting up my e-commerce ads, right? Other than, I kind of tailored it towards selling vehicles, right? But what I didn't realize at the time, I ran into a brick wall, was that the e-commerce things that I was selling, they were probably $3-4 products on the front end. And then on the back end, we kind of sold them more or something similar to it, right? But all in all, you're looking at $25 carts, right? Not a lot of money. As opposed to the vehicles that we're selling them, or what we're trying to sell, which is $40, $50, $60, $70,000, right? That same strategy that I used to get deals via e-commerce was not going to work trying to sell cars. I didn't realize that at first. I thought I just can duplicate the strategy into whatever niche that I please, and it works that way. So I came up with a plan. I realized, and the first thing I had to realize was this is not working, right? So it was a self-audit, something's not working. And so I started testing some things. And, after 6, 7, 8 months, I really started to hone in on it. And what I found that worked out very well for me, that made a difference almost right away, was making offers, but also depositing goodwill. I think goodwill will actually be senior to offers, right? Get the goodwill first, and then you can offer. Because when you deposit goodwill into someone's bank account, you now get what? Influence, right? So when you tell them, hey, take this offer, click here, call us now. Anytime you make an offer and you can't get someone to take you up on that offer, you don't have influence over them, right? So the goodwill was a way for me to get more influence over the people that were seeing my offers. And when I made that switch, like, everything changed like right away. It was almost like an immediate deal. Here's some of the results, right? So you can see that this person came across my ad. I came across an ad of his through Facebook and was undecided about purchasing a vehicle. He made me a great offer on my trade-in and sold me a brand new 2020, right? So now the ads are working, right? Here's some more results I got lined up. you can see that I was getting leads, like the leads that were actually coming through my funnel. They weren't just leads that came through and then I never talked to them. These leads were leads that came through and then they engaged with me. So I got them to reach out towards me. And not only were they reaching out towards me via offline, they were also reaching out towards me like just on the ad itself, right? So, hey, mine's total last week. I just saw one online. I'll be calling you next week. Thanks, Ricky, for my new Equinox. You guys are looking for a new car. I recommend this guy. He worked everything out. And then you can just keep seeing, Ricky, would you give me a call? This is blah, 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 blah. Right. So like the leads were just flowing in. And then also what I realized is that this was actually a follow-up tool for me as well as a salesperson. Not only was it a lead generation tool, it was a follow-up tool, right? What I realized is that the people that were demoing vehicles with me, I can just put them inside that same funnel and suffocate them exactly how I was trying to suffocate people who I wanted to get into the market, bring into the store, right? More top end of the funnel. I can use this and this is kind of like a form of follow-up. You can see here, hey, we enjoyed meeting with you Saturday, Ricky. Thanks for introducing us to the XT4, right? So like, this is something that I developed as a salesperson myself. I was solving my own problems. And next thing you know, I no longer had marketing problems. I was pretty much independent of the dealer. And now fast forward, this is just kind of what I do for dealers now, right? On a bigger scale, which is going back to my original dream was starting a business, right? Having some type of business. I didn't know that I was going to fall into this, but I kind of fell into it the hard way, right? And when I said hard way, I mean, I had to solve my own selling problems first. Once I solved my own selling problems, guess who also had selling problems, right? Other dealers. And that's how this kind of like came about. But I can understand if you guys have been struggling right now, you're trying some of these things, it's not working. Well, you got to understand that when I tried it the first time, it just didn't work. When I tried it the second time, didn't work. Third time, didn't work. I mean, this was more like a throw this stuff on the wall, see what sticks. And you got to throw a lot of it on the wall because a lot of it is not going to work. So I've already done the failures, right? The reason I tell people the reason why I know what I'm doing is because I failed so much, which is a good thing because all I did was remove all the stuff that didn't work, right? I had to go through and fail, and all the stuff that didn't work, I threw out. And every now and then you stumble across something that makes the stat go up, right? Gets you more results. And you can see it, you can tell it, you can see it in the numbers. And I was able to take that 1%, right? And actually amplify it. So listen, guys, if you're trying to do something like this, it takes consistency. It takes somebody that this is what they want to do. Like they are committed 100%. You may be doing other things at the dealership. This is so focused, right? Also, you got to understand some of the people that you guys may have hired to come in, you got to understand they didn't solve their own problem first, right? Some of those guys have never sold before. They don't understand how to couple that together with marketing, right? They don't understand what the customers could be thinking, right? They've only been on one side of the scale, right? So like it will be extremely hard for them to really know what they're doing. So, you really can't fault them, right? You just got to be able to understand if that person knows what they're really talking about, right? So here's some more information that I want to throw your way. So when I speak about the hard way, right, this is kind of this is what I see the guys that are doing a lot. They're trying to stay omnipresent, right? This is some of the things that I'm seeing they're doing. So direct mail, they can spend $2,000 a month on that. SEOs, if you're just starting out, you got to pay $1,500, $2,000, $2,500, and then you got to kind of wait for it to kick in, right? This is how it works, right? Not saying that it's a bad thing. You just got to understand that's longevity. Radio ads, you got to go up to 10K a month. Third-party listing sites, $2-3 grand usually. Facebook Marketplace free. If you're doing any type of retargeting on Facebook, average budget for that is around $1,500. All right. So anyway, long story short, this can end up coming out towards $18,000 a month. Right. So, I mean, it gets expensive. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to cut that stuff by a third. And I'm also going to do it right now with you guys live. I'm going to build a market suffocation funnel with you guys live. And I'm going to do it within 10 minutes, right? We'll be in and out. So here's the 3 secrets for or the secret sauce I like to call for market suffocation, right? What you have to have for you to be able to do this effectively. So number one, you got to be able to identify, you got to get those digital buyers. You got to pretty much have a digital buyers list is what I like to call that you can go into and put offers down their news feeds and everywhere they're on the internet, right? So I'm gonna show you guys how to build one of those buyers lists that are ready to make purchasing decisions. You got to have sticky offers and goodwill, right? Those are the two things that allow you guys to get influence over people. And once you can influence someone, that way you can get people to actually, you get people to actually do the things that you want them to do. You want them to schedule a call. You want them to sign up for an appointment. You got to have some type of influence, right? Goodwill, you cannot substitute that. And then number three, omnipresent distribution, right? So like now that you have all of these offers, now that you have all of these ideas for how you want to distribute your goodwill, right? What distribution channels do you use, right? And inside of that secret, I'm gonna show you guys how to effortlessly net and do exactly what that that testimonial I was showing you, how you can make 30 grand but only spending around $600 in advertising, not spending that 18 grand a month, right? There's a way to do it, and it's an omnipresent distribution channels, right? Plural, that you guys can use to make this work. So secret number one, right? How to build a digital buyers list that's ready to go, right? To make purchasing decisions. And first thing I want to show you guys is how I actually wasted time kind of targeting the wrong people. So before this actually worked for me, the problem I was having was people were coming through, they weren't answering the phone. Those people weren't even qualified, like they didn't have a job, Social Security making $700 a month, they're trying to finance a $30,000 vehicle. Like it just was the wrong personnel, right? And what I had to do is I had to discover a way to actually get the right personnel, filter out the fat so that I can bring my cost down, because when you're targeting less, you spend less, right? That's the secret sauce. Target less, spend less. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to target less and you're excluding people that are actually in the market. And then your less that you have left over is a majority of people that will never buy and can't buy from you. So you got to understand that. So first thing you want to do is step number one is install all of your data trackers. So this is Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. They issue you guys a piece of code. You put it inside of a Google Tag Manager. It's easier if you drop it in a Google Tag Manager, drop the Google Tag Manager code on your website. But you get these codes from these social sites. You also want to have another one called Ad Roll. This allows you to target people that are not on social media. So one guy may use Instagram, they may use LinkedIn more than they use Instagram though, right? One guy might not even use LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, none of those social sites, but they still use the internet, right? So they're still on other websites. You still want to show up there, right? So you want to get all these data trackers on your website so that when people go there, what you can initially do is now start to drive intent-based traffic there so you can start to filter out all the fat. And understand not all traffic is going to be treated the same, right? So for an example, you can get traffic from Facebook, right? And you can target an interest, right? So you can, Facebook can say, hey, these people in this bucket are interested in, let's just say Chevrolet, and you're selling Chevrolets, right? You can target those people, but like there's no way of telling if they have any intent. They may be interested, but does that mean they have intent? Versus you can target people that are actually on a search engine, right? So that could be a third-party listing site. So they could be looking for, like a car that they want, right? See that you guys have multiple listings. I want to click on this website and see what else he has, right? That traffic you just drove over to your site is intent-based traffic. This is the traffic that you want. If they found you via Google, they've already predetermined in their head that they're going to make a purchase before they probably even knew who you were, and they just happen to stumble across you. Those are that's the traffic that you want to have. So be careful. Not all traffic is treated the same. If you start to bring in that bad traffic, all it is just going to just filter it out anyway. So you'll be wasting money. That's exactly how a lot of people get really carried away with this stuff. So, and then number three is once you have that on your website, once you're driving the intent traffic, you want to segmentate your audience. So what I mean by segmentation is, for an example, when someone comes to your view all inventory page, right? They can see all your vehicles. You may not want to retarget that person yet, because you got to understand that they may not even be interested in buying a car. They may have some other interest that got them over to your website, right? Why would someone view all of your inventory but not visit your actual VDP page, right? Why would they view all of your inventory and not pick a vehicle, land on a car, and actually go through the pictures? And that indicates that someone's serious, right? They're really serious in what they're trying to make a purchase, right? So those are the people you want to target. So on your website, you want to be able to segmentate that audience. You want to be able to grab the people that are going on your website, clicking through the photos, reading the description, right? Building their deal out. Whatever you guys, however it's structured on your website, you want to dial into those, that audience, because those are the people that are actually, not only did you bring in intent traffic, but they're actually trying to do something. They're doing behaviors on your website that indicate they're getting ready to make a purchase. You want to pick that up. Now, once you do pick that up, I want you guys to understand you got to craft sticky offers that make people kind of feel weird for not actually taking your offer, right? And you also got to deliver goodwill at the same time. So first thing I want to do is I want to go over the formula of how to create a sticky offer. And this is actually a formula that I didn't come up with, right? There's a guy named Alex Ramosi. He's this guy's an expert on offer creation. And he developed a formula that allows you to pretty much create offers that makes people feel stupid for not taking it, right? Or they feel weird for not taking it. So here's how it goes. Dream outcome times perceived likelihood of achievement. So dream outcome, what is that? Dream outcome could be, hey, think about your customer base. They're different, right? So one customer base may be someone that's buying 40, 50, 60, $70,000 cars, right? Let's say they're buying it cash. Like they're not worried about financing. So they may be more focused on like, okay, deal, right? Okay, but then you got the guy that does finance, right? The guy that just can't stroke a check for it. But he can afford the monthly payments, right? He can afford a high monthly payment, or he can afford to write a check, but prefer to just do monthly payments. And they're going to be worried about what? Financing. What's my interest rate? What's my interest rate, right? Versus another person that can't qualify for a $40,000, $50,000 vehicle, but may qualify for a buy here, pay here. What's their dream outcome? Are you sure you guys can get me bought? Because everywhere I go, someone turns me down. So are you sure that you can get me bought? Because that's what everybody's telling me. Okay, that's a dream outcome. Perceived likelihood of achievement. So how likely are you to actually deliver this result, right? And that's what they perceive on their end, right? Are you very likely? So I'll give you a good example. And this is actually a good example that was actually brought to my attention, right? Say you're getting ready to have nose surgery, right? And you got two doctors. Dr. A has only done maybe 5 surgeries. Dr. B has done 2,000 surgeries that revolve around your nose, right? In this specialty. Okay. So if your perceived likelihood of achievement of you actually getting your nose surgery or whatever you need, like your perceived value of that, of someone actually being able to produce that result with minimal effort and would actually get it done without destroying your face, is the guy who's done it the most, right? So look at that as a way to increase your perceived likelihood of achievement. So for an example, right, if someone is always, like let's say you're buy here, pay here. I'm just going to throw this out here. You're buy here, pay here, right? And you want people to perceive you guys as the actual solution that can actually get me into a vehicle, even though I have bad credit. The way you increase that perceived likelihood is everybody that comes to your store, just ask them, hey, what was your story? You can, like, your salesperson should know this, right? Did you try somebody else before you came here? Yeah, I did. Okay, good. Now you can actually take a picture of them buying the car, shaking their hand with the keys in their hand, and you just take a testimonial photo and you just input their story. Hey, John, or hey, Jesse went to 3 different dealers. They all said that they can help her get into a vehicle. They all knew she had struggling credit, and they all wasted 3-4 hours of her time. She came here, was in and out within an hour. and you do that time over time over time over time, your perceived likelihood of achievement is going to go up. So right underneath that, so you got dream outcome, time, perceived likelihood of achievement. Right underneath that, you got time delay. So time delay, you see a lot of dealers now advertising we can get you in and out within an hour, right? The Van Tile store did that ways back. Hey, get you in and out within 45 minutes. And right besides that, so you got time delay times effort and sacrifice. So effort and sacrifice is, you see a lot of people through COVID now, after COVID, they still like to buy they're going to continue to buy their cars where you guys they're doing the paperwork online and then you deliver the vehicle to them, right? Effort on their end is almost, I don't have to come into the dealership. They bring the paperwork out, I sign the paperwork, or hey, listen, I don't have to come into the dealership to test drive and sit there for 3 hours. There's a salesperson that actually delivers the vehicle to me, drives around my area, and allows me to test drive the vehicle. And then from there, I can decide if I want it or not, right? So their effort, when you decrease their effort, you decrease their sacrifice. And you give, and you increase or decrease the amount of like delay from them actually getting that result. Like you can make it happen extremely fast. That's how you deliver value. This is exactly how the formula is actually built out. So you want to start with dream outcomes. You want to increase your likelihood of achievement. You want to remove time, effort, and sacrifice at the same time. Now, secret number 3 is omnipresent distribution. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is how you actually deliver this stuff to them, right? So you want to push these offers through digital and social platforms, right? And the reason why I say that is because when you push it through, let's just say, for an example, let's say, for an example, you're going to, hey, I want to do Facebook ads and I want to do Instagram ads, right? A lot of people forget about LinkedIn ads. They don't even come on their radar. A lot of people forget about Twitter ads, right? Well, why do people forget about that? Because they think that that person or this person may or may not be there, right? That's not up for you to decide. Once you find somebody that's in the market, it's not up to you to decide where you think they should be followed, where you think they should be hanging around at. You got to understand, someone may have a Facebook, Instagram, a TikTok, and they also may have a LinkedIn, right? But they may minimally use every single one of them besides the LinkedIn, because they're on LinkedIn because they may be in business. They're always, they may be a contractor, so they're always networking, and that's where they network at, right? So they may be using the tool as a tool and using the rest of the social media at a minimum level just to see what's going on in the world, right? So it's not up to you to decide that. So you want to make sure you're showing up everywhere. And if they don't use social media at all, you still want to show up on the website, right? So they still use the internet, right? You still want to make sure that they're getting some type of offline stuff as well with those same offers, but you do not change the offer. Offer is going to stay congruent, and you're going to test out these offers to make sure they work, and then you're just going to distribute it through those channels. Now, the way you make sure that you can match up your offer with the right audience is how you segmentate your audience, right, to begin with. So I'll give you an example. If you're going to create, let's say right here on the right, I got it filtrated out from $42,000 to $156,000, right? If you're going to create an offer for this audience here, you got to understand that this audience may be different from the ones that may be looking at a vehicle that's $5,000 to $10,000, right? And the reason why is you got to understand, they're going to have different dream outcomes, right? So go back to that formula. They're going to have different dream outcomes. The guy's looking for 0 to 10,000. Their dream outcome may be, hey, listen, I'm not trying to finance a lot of money. I don't have the best credit score, but I can afford a $400 payment. Can you do something for me? The guy that's looking at a $60,000, $70,000 car, they could probably, to hire you up, typically some of those people can struggle to check for it, or they may finance it and can afford a higher payment, right? They may be interested in finance. They may be interested in deals, right? That type of language. So you got to be sure when you segmentate your audience that you're matching up an offer for that audience, unless it's just going to be a complete disaster. Trust me, I've done it, right? So I'm going to show you guys some more examples that I was able to produce using market suffocation. And here you see we spent $7,000 and made $12,000 back on that off those couple campaigns. Over here, this was the $600 that we spent. and made 27 grand, right? So, you know, it all varies, inventory, profit margin. Um, you know, it could vary from dealership to dealership, but here's a quick little video um, testimonial that I got from TJ over at iDrive from using this system, so you can see what he actually thinks about it, right?
My name's TJ Davis. I'm a co-owner at iDrive Automotive Parts, and we've been using Ricky and his team now for roughly 4 months, give or take. And I couldn't recommend these guys to you anymore. They've been able to take our traffic and triple it in a matter of months. Same with our lead count.
Yeah, so the market stuff, what I really wanted to point out is the traffic increasing, lead count increasing, and all of it resulting.
Which is directly contributed to more sales, more revenue.
Right. So it's contributing straight to more deals, right? So it's not more leads, more flow, and we're still making the same amount of money. It's more leads, more flow, and we're making more money. So I really wanted to point that out. I appreciate TJ for doing that. And again, if you guys have anything for me, if you want to get a hold of me, feel free to reach out to me. Email us ricky@weknowdealeraz.com. But I do want to make sure that you guys understand that market suffocation may not be for everyone, right? It all depends. So reach out to me and we can get that figured out for you. I do appreciate this, and you guys take care.